right, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode of GVN Review. I'm your host, Tia, and I have with me a very special guest from the Kinda Nerdy Girls podcast, Johna. How are you today, Johna?
Good. I just woke up, but I got my coffee, so we're all good to go.
You know, the world would not be possible without coffee.
Honestly, you are
Yeah,
correct.
right? I mean, the people that you meet sometimes who say, "Oh, I don't drink coffee," and I go, "How do you get up in the morning?" Apparently, they just have really good sleep, which I don't know about.
What is that?
What is that?
Uh,
What is
what
that
is
foreign
sleeping?
concept?
Honestly.
But
Yes.
I am very thankful that Johna is here because we are reviewing the second season of Netflix's Who Killed Sara. I have to
Yay.
say, I was on the Kinda Nerdy Girls a few weeks ago, and KJ asked me like what I was recommending, and I recommended Who Killed Sara. And not often do people actually watch what I recommend. So when Johna messaged me and said, "I just watched the first season," I was like, "Wow, someone actually took one of my recommendations. Thank you."
You're welcome. It was actually already in my queue because I saw the preview for it on like the header of Netflix, and I was like, man, that looks really good. Let me, you put things in your queue and then you watch them like 10 years later.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you suggested it, and I was like, you know what? I will watch that. So I watched it, and I was like, yes, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my whole life.
I will admit, so I got like hooked on it because I got an email from the rep before the first season came out. And she's like, "Hey, here's the trailer. Can you promote it?" And I'm like, "This looks really good." And also, the guy Manolo Cardona, who plays the main Alex, played the vice president in the first two seasons of Narcos, and I am a huge Narcos fan, so I was like, "All right, I'm gonna watch this then."
I'm
And
sorry,
I
did you say that Manolo was in it? Got it. Okay.
got it. That's all I need to know. I'm sure that you guys can relate because you are big Chris Evans fans, right? So it's like
Yes.
when you like an actor, you say to yourself, "I don't really care what they're in. I'm gonna watch it anyway."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You are correct.
So I know that this review is about season two, which there are going to be spoilers. So if you haven't watched season two, just be aware of that. But because we're reviewing season two, but I didn't get to have you on when I reviewed season one. If you want to just give like your quick thoughts of how you feel about this show as a whole, like season one and season two are so different. So I mean, were you expecting what happened in season two after watching season one?
No, not even a little bit. I mean, season one was good, and it was like very like the act. Oh God, they are just amazing actors.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just was so blown away by how fantastic how they all this emotion that they're all showing, and I'm like, God, I can't even like cry on cue like that. Like, how are you guys doing this? But I mean, it just this was crazy. Like as soon as it started, when Sarah died, all the way until the end, and then when season two came out, I was like, this got real lit real fast. Like it escalated so quickly in season two.
It really did. Season one felt, say, more of a traditional murder mystery. And then
Mhm.
season two is just like, bam, bam.
Yep. Yep,
um,
definitely.
so I want to start right away with asking, and again, this is spoiler. So again, if you haven't seen it, now we are treading on the spoiler section of this.
Yay, a
So
podcast where I can spoil things.
do you not normally do that on the Kind of Nerdy Girls?
No, they try and keep me from spoiling things because I'll literally tell everyone the whole entire plot of the movie and how it ended and who died and like all the other stuff. And they're like, John, what do people want to watch it? I'm like, I don't know. I just wanted you to know what happened.
No, this is a full spoiler, so we're all good. Did you expect the whole twist with Sarah? Because in season one, we just saw her through flashbacks, and obviously Alex caring very much about her because, she was his sister. I will admit really quickly, and excuse me because my thoughts are all over the place, but Sarah didn't seem like the nicest of people even in season one in the flashbacks, but for them to just go, "Oh, she's a paranoid schizophrenic." I was like, "Excuse me?" So,
Right.
what are your thoughts there?
Um, it. it seems like a hard left for me, like towards the end of season one, where they were like, okay, we're gonna get into like she has this mental illness. And I was like, okay, it kind of feels a little like reaching a little bit because we don't see how she acts like how we did in season two. And I was like, are you guys sure? Are you sure? But to be fair, we were seeing her through Alex's eyes where he didn't see any of those things.
Right. And
So
I have to say that in a way, like, and again, I love season two, but I will say that was a little uh out of left field for me because I was like, Alex, how did you not know that your sister literally had schizophrenia?
honestly, I think I don't know. I guess like maybe on some level he knew because once you got into season two and you were seeing the flashbacks, like you could kind of see him like seeing how she was being a little different and a little distant and like all of that stuff. And the girl, and I can't think of her name, the girl Sarah, she A+. She wins the award for acting in season two because I know it has to take a lot to put yourself in the mind frame to play a paranoid schizophrenic.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, oh God, I forget her name, but I will say that the whole time I was like, I don't know, just the way she was acting towards her mom. And again, like, I know that she can't help it to a degree because, she has schizophrenia, but I was like, your poor mom. I mean, she
Uh,
literally tried to like slash her at some point.
right? I
Yeah.
know. Oh my god. That and then freaking Mari for I freaking just hate Mari for so bad. Like I mean, and I will say in season one, I was kind of like rooting for her a little bit because I was
Me
like,
too. Yeah.
okay. I was like, she was Sarah's best friend, and then like you kind of find out Sarah had this problem, and but I did we ever? I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did we ever find out why she called Sarah right before she went to the lake?
No, no, we didn't. We don't know why she was, because that's why she called her. She was like, "You bitch, you're not here
Yeah,
for your best friend," and I didn't understand that at all. There was never any like conclusion. Was it because of her mom? No, it wasn't because of her mom. I have no idea.
I don't know. Well, I figured like I mean this is bad probably because I watch way too much television, but I thought she had been like assaulted or something, and she was like calling her friend and was like, "Hey, like I really need you because this thing happened to me." And Sarah's just like, "No, I'm gonna go to the lake with my boyfriend."
With I'm gonna I'm gonna go to the lake with my rich boyfriend and everything. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Because if I know if my best friend calls me crying like that, I'm like, "All right, I'm on my way."
Yeah, you're like, I got you, girl. I can meet, if anything, you could go meet your boyfriend at the lake, but your best friend is in trouble and she is not a good friend at all.
No, not at all. Their friendship seemed a little. I mean, I know Marifer was probably trying to be her friend because of everything she was going through, but I mean, at some point, like I think Marifer just was doing it just out of obligation, not because she actually cared about Sarah.
That's exactly what it felt like. And I want to get right also into the Marifer and the Clara thing. I mean,
Yes.
oh my God. First of all, okay. In season one already, I said to myself, what is going on with Clara and Chema and Lorenzo? I mean, she is, getting way too weird with them. I mean, the way she was eyeing them, the way she was trying to like get into their lives and everything. And then you find out that Marifer and Clara are sisters. And
Oh,
that whole thing, I mean, what the hell?
I was so shook when I found that out because like Clara came to Marifer's house and she was like, "Oh hey, what's up?" And I was like, "Okay, maybe they're just like friends, maybe or something
Yeah.
like that." And then it's like our mom, and I was like, "Whoa, hey, what? Y'all are related?" Okay, I wasn't ready for that plot twist. And then I was just wondering, I was like, what is the plan here? Why are they plotting against both of the families, like Alex's family and the Loscanos? It was like, what did they do to you?
And it was crazy because so the craziest thing to me was Marifer said to Clara, like, it's not enough that you're pregnant with, Chema's baby. I forget actually, did they ever find out if it was Chema or Lorenzo? One of,
No, because in season two, spoiler, Clara died. So I
yeah,
don't think they did like a DNA test.
no, no, which we'll get to that because that was insane.
Yes.
But she's like, you need to have them fall in love with you. And I sat there and I was like, they're gay. I was like,
Oh
you
my
know,
God, thank you.
I was like, that felt a little, I'm not going to sit here and say that felt, I don't know how to word it, where it was like not offensive. I can't get offended by that, but it's like, I don't know if that was offensive or tone deaf or something to say that, you know, as a woman, get the guy who isn't heterosexual or even bisexual to fall in love with you. I don't know. It was
Yeah.
so weird in that sense.
Yeah. That also seemed like a reach there. Like,
Well, and
hey, I know you're pregnant by maybe pregnant by him. Not even sure if you are carrying his baby, but just in case, have sex with him and make him fall in love with you. And I'm just like, I don't think that's gonna happen.
think it works like that.
And then Chema let me down so bad. I
I
was like, oh, like, why are you doing this?
Well, especially okay, I kind of audibly laughed when she came out in Lorenzo's like
Oh my
outfit,
God.
and then she had like the drawn on mustache.
Yes,
Like,
oh my God.
and it's like, listen, I loved Chema. Like, shout out to Eugenio Siller, is I believe how
Yes.
you pronounce his name. He did a phenomenal job this season acting. But I was like, Chema, I know you miss Lorenzo, but you miss him that much that you're like, you know what? She's wearing his outfit. It's enough.
Yeah. And I mean, and also I will say that I kind of think it was a little the show is so weird with the like how Chema is in love with Alex, but Alex is clearly in love with Elisa.
Mm-hmm.
And like, oh, not to say that Chema didn't care about Lorenzo, but like literally after Lorenzo is like cold in a friggin' mortuary, Rodolfo comes in and he's like, we got to go help Alex. And he's like, Alex, what's wrong with Alex? I'm like, did you? Oh,
Listen, Chema never got over his love for Alex, because even in season one, I believe there's a scene where it's like he's laying next to Lorenzo, and then he literally starts like looking at a video of him and Alex when they're
yes,
younger and everything.
yes,
And then I even believe that there's a scene where he's like doing that, and then he goes and has sex with Lorenzo, and I'm like, clearly
yeah,
he just has Alex on the brain.
yeah. I mean, me too, though, honestly. Like,
Well, yeah.
but I just thought it was so weird. I was like, do you love Lorenzo, or is Lorenzo just like your Alex placeholder? That's
I
kind of what it felt like.
I did feel in a sense that there were moments that Lorenzo felt like a placeholder for Alex. And I
Mhm.
also felt as if, because Lorenzo was clearly, say, like the more adult, not to say that Chema wasn't the adult, but Lorenzo's the lawyer and he
Mhm.
seems very like mature, where, Chema has a lot of, you know, he has a lot of emotional issues. Look at his dad. So,
Yeah.
Lorenzo is kind of the person who is putting his foot down a lot. And I feel like Chema needed that. And when he
Mhm.
didn't have that with Lorenzo, then I'm sorry, what kind of decision was that Chema made? And I know that I'm skipping way ahead and everything, but we're on the subject. And I was like, I get that he is in love with Alex and he wants to do everything for Alex, but Alex is like, what price are you willing to pay? And then Chema goes and confesses to a murder that he didn't even
Oh my
commit.
God. Right. Oh my God.
I'm
I
like,
was
Chema,
like,
what are you doing?
oh my God. I was literally like so, and it was so weird that the police officer just like took that confession. Like, okay, I get the confession for Mancho or whatever. I get
Oh
that
yeah, that guy.
because he actually did kill that guy. Like,
Yeah, but he
okay, I
deserved
get
it.
it.
He deserved it.
Definitely. But the whole like, oh, I killed Abel, and I'm like, but you did it.
But you
Like, how,
didn't.
like what even like in that police officer with no investigation like into how he knows Abel and why he would kill Abel was like nothing. They're just like, all right, you're going to prison. I was like, what is happening?
He was like, I don't have anyone now. And I was like, but you do. I was like,
You have a whole brother.
You have Rodolfo, you have Elisa. I was like, you have family. What
Yes.
is going on?
Oh my God. I think because he just lost like every like I mean he was close to your siblings or whatever, but like he lost like his basically husband, because I don't think him and Lorenzo were married. I think they were just engaged.
I think so, because I'm sure, and that was another thing. Like, and I'm sure like a lot of people go through this. So again, I'm not here to, presume anyone's, situations, but Chema, as much as he stood up to his father, I think to a degree still wanted his father's respect and approval. So I feel that because he didn't have that, that could be a reason why him and Lorenzo never got married.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But they wore like rings and stuff, so I was like, maybe they are married. So that was a little confusing.
Chema should have just taken Lorenzo's offer and gone and moved. I think, where did he say, to Chicago or something? Like, come
yeah,
to.
They should have went to the United States. I was here for it. Can
you imagine?
I was like, yes, get out of that.
Lorenzo and Chema could have had a nice life. They could have had a surrogate here, not crazy ass Clara. Right. That's okay. So that's another thing I want to talk about. And my reviews are always like, just to forewarn you, all over the place, because I'm like, I can't talk in linear. There's too much stuff going around.
You don't have to tell me, okay? I'm here for it. My brain is never one line. It's like 4 different plot points all at one time.
Okay, awesome. The fact that Marifer literally killed her sister, her pregnant sister. Oh my.
Yeah. But my whole thing was, how did that even happen? Like, because I know they were struggling for the gun or whatever, and then you just hear a shot go off. And I was like, okay.
No, I was like, they killed the baby? Because then this next scene, you just see Clara's body on a slab. And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
It could have been, what was the mother's name again? Was it Mariana?
Mariana.
Why couldn't it have been her? I hated her.
I hate her so much. Oh my God. There was an award for worst mom in the history of ever, it'd be her. Like, she would win hands down.
Because, like, all right, not only did she stand by and watch Caesar beat Chema, right? Oh my God, I don't know why. There's so many characters, so I forget. Who was the, like, essentially adopted son?
Bruno.
Not right? Bruno. The one that she ended up killing.
I know it. I know Elroy. That's his name. Elroy.
Okay, so not only did she end up killing Elroy, she also was like sexually assaulting him because he was a minor and she was an adult. So, whoa. And she tried to kill Rodolfo, the worst mother ever.
Oh my God. Literally, when they were showing those flashbacks of it, was like her telling Elroy, like, yeah, like, you need to kill Rodolfo. I was like, what? Hold on. Why?
I was not expecting that. I was like, my God.
So, and then Elroy is literally just killing all these people. And I was like, bruh, are you
Well, Elroy was pretty crazy too, because he literally killed his parents. So it was like, Elroy, you had some problems.
Those flashbacks, man. I was like, oh, I like clutching my pearls type stuff. I was like, oh my God.
I wasn't expecting that at all. So that was crazy. But during that whole scuffle with Marifer and Clara and Mariana, I was like, please let it be Mariana that gets killed. And of course it wasn't. It was Clara. So again, poor Chema. This whole series is like, poor Chema.
Yeah, literally.
So I wanted to talk about, so we have Mariana and we have then Caesar, or Cesar, I should say. Cesar.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing with season 2 that was crazy is that he's still a bad guy, but they tried to make him seem better than we thought he was in season 1. What'd you think of that? Because I was very confused. I was like, wait, he's an asshole, but then he's saving Sara, and then he's kind of working with Alex, and I just didn't understand that.
Yeah, I didn't. I will tell you that when he did the whole, oh, I'm gonna kill myself thing, I was like, he ain't dead. Like, there's no way. I was like, there's no way that man is just like so down on himself. He's way too arrogant and too self-absorbed to do that. And I was like, he's not gonna kill himself. And then when he just shows up out of nowhere, I was like, I knew he wasn't dead. I knew he was alive the whole time. Like, it just was so insane to me. But it was so weird to see those flashbacks of like where Sarah's calling him because Abel's like escaped from the asylum or whatever, and she's like, come help me," and like, and it was so weird to me that he would just like answer his son's phone, I guess, when Sarah was calling,
Yeah,
like
it was
you
very
literally
weird
saw that it was the girl that you were sleeping with and is possibly pregnant with your child, but you're still gonna answer the phone. Okay, whatever.
because
I would be
it's
avoiding that call, but
weird because he was pretty much telling Sarah to like bug off in season one when she was like, "I'm pregnant," and he was just like, "Be gone," like that.
right.
So I didn't understand. Like, did Cesar care a little for Sarah? I don't know.
Probably. I mean, he's clearly like a pedophile, like
Oh yeah,
obviously. So I think like I'm pretty sure like all of this, like the killing Abel and all that stuff happened like right before the lake stuff happened.
yeah.
So like maybe he was already like sleeping with her and he like had caught like a little bit of feelings, I guess, because you tend, I don't know, you tend to like people that you sleep with. So maybe he was feeling some type of obligation to like save her or whatever, and Rodolfo can't save her because it was his phone that he answered.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can appreciate that he went and saved her, and then like he's like working with Alex to like save Elisa after she gets kidnapped or
Yeah.
whatever. And I was like, Cesar, are you like a nice person? Because that's not the plot that I was expecting. Like they were really trying to save like his character. Like I feel
Yeah,
like
but
they
then
want.
they were trying to say, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's like
No, you're fine.
they were trying to save his character, but then they show a flashback of him beating Chema when he comes
Yeah,
out, and I'm like, all right, never mind, screw you, you're trash again.
yeah. That scene hurt me so bad. Like I was in here sobbing when I saw that. I was like, and then Mariana, that bitch, excuse my language, she just freaking stood
Walks
up
away.
and walked out. Like I was like, what are you doing? That is your literal child. Why are you not trying to save him from this ass whooping from his own father?
But I have to appreciate Chema always having the balls essentially to stand up to his dad. I mean, that was like, that took a lot for him to say, like, Dad, I'm gay and I'm in love with Alex. And I was like, Chema, that was probably the worst decision that you could have ever done, but I am proud of you.
Yeah. And the whole thing with Caesar is, like you don't have any balls, or whatever. And saying that Alex has them. I'm like, I would assume that it takes a lot for a person to not even like trust you enough, but just be like, you know what? I'm out and I'm in love with this person. Like,
Yeah.
and it makes me so upset that freaking Cesar is just like, oh, I wish Alex was my son. Do you? Do you wish that Alex
You
was your
sent him,
son?
you sent him to prison for
Right?
for 18 years.
Yeah, like, do you actually wish that he was your son? But because I mean, if Alex was his son, Alex would probably have turned out just like Chema or Rodolfo.
Yeah, which poor both of them. I mean,
I know.
I felt so bad for Rodolfo because it's like any girl that he's with, his dad ends up sleeping with because then his
Yeah.
wife also ends up pregnant with Cesar's child, which I will say that was wrong, obviously. But
Mhm.
Rodolfo never disclosed to her that he had had a vasectomy. So it's like, you married the woman. Shouldn't you have, disclosed that beforehand? Like, hey, if you're
Yeah.
looking to have another child, we would have to take other avenues because I got snipped.
Right. And like and I will say that when I saw the scene where Cesar told Rodolfo, he was like, "Hey, I heard that you're expecting a child." I was like, "Oh, Caesar, you done messed up. You messed up," because he didn't even know.
He didn't even.
He didn't even know.
Oh
And
my
then he
god.
goes home and he's like, "Oh, are you pregnant?" And she's like, "Yeah, aren't you so happy that we're gonna have a baby?" And he's like, "That baby ain't mine."
I didn't understand at first why Rodolfo was so mad, unless, like, again, the whole thing, like, both Chema and Rodolfo held a candle for different people than the people they were actually with. So, because
Yeah.
Rodolfo was thinking about Sarah the whole time. So I was like, oh, is he just not happy because he's not happy with her? And it's like, oh no, because he knows that that biologically cannot be his child.
Yeah. And then skipping to season 2, he like I want them to talk about the fact that Rodolfo like helped his ex-wife like flee Mexico and move to the United States, and no one addressed that she left the hospital.
Yeah, when she like ran out with the baby and everything, and I was like, what's going on?
Yeah. And then you see Bruno show up, and I was like, okay, Bruno. And then I was like, oh, he's probably working with Rodolfo on something. And then, and I honestly, because I watch way too many TV shows, way too many movies, when they got on that plane and it was gonna take off, I was like, that bug is gonna blow up. I felt it. I thought it was gonna blow up. And
Yeah.
then Rodolfo would have did all of that for nothing. But I mean, it didn't. But I like how Mariana was, watching Clara get shot at the time. But so she probably doesn't even know that Sophia then left the country with her grand her
Uh,
stepson.
her stepson slash grandson.
Yeah. It's really weird.
It's a weird.
It's a weird situation.
Yeah, I mean, I did enjoy Rodolfo and Bruno's relationship. That even though Rodolfo divorced Sophia and obviously harbored a lot of resentment towards her, that he still took Bruno in, which makes me wonder. Did they ever establish how long he and Sophia were together? Like, has Bruno known Rodolfo his whole life, or was this just like a 4-year thing or something?
I feel I feel like they said how long they had been together.
They may
like
have, but I
one.
just like
And
missed it.
I don't remember. Yeah, I probably missed it too. The subtitles go real fast.
They go real fast.
So you got to be a real fast reader for subtitles. But I don't know. I feel like they've been together like long enough for him and Bruno to like form like a type of father son type relationship, because I mean Bruno trusted him enough to be like, hey, like your dad's running a whorehouse in the basement.
My God, that's right. I feel like that barely got covered in season 2. Again, like Cesar was not a good guy.
No, not at all. And then I'm forgetting his name.
Sergio, the psycho friend.
He's the worst. And like that whole scene in season 2 where Cesar was like chasing him and all that stuff. I was like, Cesar, if you do not kill this man, why are you playing this game? Shoot him.
Well,
it was too much.
The whole thing with Sergio having Elisa, I was like, wow, this got dark really quickly.
There were so many plots in season 2. Like, it's like, okay, Cesar's dead. Okay, Elisa is kidnapped. Okay, Chema like murdered this guy. Okay, Alex is still trying to get revenge. Okay, Marifer is Diana the Huntress, and now she's Sarah's sister, which big plot twist right there. Finding out that they're actually related. Oh my God. I was so shook when I found that out. I was like, what?
Which, by the way, I saw someone online point that out. Alex and Marifer were sleeping together. So he technically was sleeping with his sister's sister.
Well, yeah, right? I mean, well, what would that make? What would that make them?
I mean, technically, like, they're not related, like biologically.
They're not related by blood. So, I mean, technically, that's not wrong. It's just a little taboo. It's really weird.
Alex didn't know. It felt like Alex very much wasn't, say, the main character of season 2, which was fine. We got to, see the other stories and get to know the other characters. So I was fine with that. I think you had pointed out during one of the Kinda Nerdy Girls podcasts that Elisa was very willing to completely go against her family and work with Alex. And that very much was the case in season 2 as well. I mean, it felt like she was like, I don't know the Lascanos. Who they? I'm going with Alex.
I'm sorry, did you say Lascano? I don't know who that is. I'm very sorry.
I don't know who that is. My bad.
But yeah, no, in season 1, like literally first episode where she meets Alex and she's just immediately like, all right, I'm going against my whole family and I'm going to help you get revenge on them. I'm like, girl, what happened? You didn't even like really hear his plan or anything. And she's just going along with it. And then he's like, oh, I'm going to kill your dad. And she's like, okay, wait a minute. I was like, girl, you got to hear the whole plan first before you decide you're going to jump onto that boat, because
it was unique, definitely. But then Elisa did leave. She went to Madrid, I feel like. And then Alex wasted no time with getting with Marifer that whole time.
No, not at all.
Oh my
And
god.
I was so mad at the end of season 1 where he was going to sleep with her, and I was like, please don't sleep with Marifer. I'm gonna die if you do. Like, and then it kind of seemed like he only slept with her like that one time
Yeah.
because like it like never got brought up in season 2.
Yeah, but then I think they said that the two of them used to sleep together a lot when they were younger.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I don't
yeah,
know.
that is true.
That
It's
was
just
so
really
crazy.
weird.
It was so weird. Really quick, what do you think about Rodolfo like suddenly then being against Alex? Because I felt like in season one he was all there for Alex. We got to work together, and then suddenly I felt like I missed something. Where then in season two he was like, "Screw Alex. This is all Alex's fault." And it's like, Rodolfo, what?
Yeah, I know. Like it was really weird that he was so for Alex season one. He was like, God, I feel so bad. Like we sent him to prison and all this stuff. And yeah, I'm gonna help you get revenge on my family. And then like season 2, and I also felt like I missed where Rodolfo like hates Alex. I was like,
Yeah, I
what
completely
happened
missed that.
in that 6 month time frame that you're like, oh, I hate Alex now, and I will murder him at any cost. And I was like, excuse me,
Yeah,
what
what?
did I miss? Because Chema, I mean, even though he's in love with Alex, has always, I mean, probably even before then, he was totally on Alex's side with
Yeah,
everything. Like, and I love that scene where is it Marifer takes Chema to go see Alex in prison, and then Chema's like, I can't do it. Like I can't see Alex like this. And I was like, oh Chema, you little heart. I'm so like
I
I
did.
just feel so bad for him.
Chema definitely has become one of my favorite characters in this show. And I do believe that part of it is him being in love with Alex, but I also feel that it comes from a friendship standpoint as well. Like,
Yeah.
I loved how even in season one and season two, he was saying, like, why is no one helping Alex? Like, he's been a friend of this family, is he's, done his best. He lost his sister, and he's literally willing to take the fall for our family, and you guys are just forgetting about him. And I was like,
Yeah.
Chema, bless you. You are the
Right.
best.
Yes, and like Chema is the one because like everyone in the Loscanos is so dramatic. They're like, "Oh, I lost everyone and everything," and I'm like, Alex literally lost everyone and everything. Like
Yeah.
he lost his sister, then he lost his mom, and then he was in prison for 18 years. Like he literally lost everything. And you
Yeah.
guys are still living in your freaking mansion, opening your casinos and all of this stuff. Like y'all didn't lose anything.
He didn't lose
If
anything.
anything, y'all were on the come up.
I will say I love that final scene in the finale when the casino's up in flames and Rodolfo's just standing there laughing. I was
Yes.
like, I love this. So
Yes.
poetic.
Oh my God. That was my favorite thing. Like, Alex is calling. He's like, hey, we need to go save Elisa. She's at the casino. And he's like, all right. He's driving. And then he pulls up and he's just cracking up because the casino is on fire. And I was like, me too, man. I
Me
get
too.
that. I totally felt that. But
Yeah,
like, also, is Marifer dead? Question mark.
I
Because
mean,
like,
she has
remember
to.
that
That
burning panel fell right on top of her.
that was great, by the way. Elisa, I feel like Elisa something broke in her a little. Like as she's like setting things on fire, she's just laughing, and I was like, Elisa, get out of there. What are you doing?
Yeah,
Go.
she stood there long enough for Alex to get to her. I was like, girl, you've been standing there for a minute. Like, I know you want to watch it burn down, but you can watch it burn outside.
You and Rodolfo could literally stand on the sidewalk and watch
Right.
it, play. So that was funny. And then, as you said, Alex comes and saves her, and there's Marifer, and I love how that's when Marifer like does her confession. So there's not enough time really for Alex to process that. He's like running away as he's like, F you effing
Right.
bitch.
I know. And I love that for some reason they thought that while they're all standing in a burning building that was the okay time for Elisa and Marifer to fight about who loves Alex more. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, what? Why is this scene in here? I don't understand. Like y'all could have hashed this out like I don't know how many different times in the span of these eight or 10 episodes, and now you're in a burning building that could literally collapse at any second, and you're like, no, I love Alex more, and I'm like, okay, if this doesn't
take
seem like the right time, but whatever.
take this fight, and then put it outside, and then we can have it.
Yes, honestly. But I mean, like, I did feel a little bad for Mari Fur just because, like, when she found out that, spoiler, she killed Sara, she was like, oh my God, I killed my sister. And then when Clara dies, she's like, oh my God, I killed both of my sisters and her mom's dead. So she really doesn't have anyone either.
And she technically killed either her niece or nephew, because I don't think they
Yeah.
found out the sex of the baby. So it's like they
Yeah.
did that. And then she found out that Sarah and like the Lascanos they found out that pretty much none of them had anything to do with what happened with her mother. So she's freaking out. So I did feel bad about that. Which then leads me into the craziest thing about this. So at the end of season one, they introduced pretty much the character of Nicandro. And I don't know if I'm saying that name right, but we didn't really see him in season one. Then suddenly they're like, and this random other guy was there. He was there too. And I was like, okay. So
I know.
all right, so clearly we're gonna introduce this guy in season two. And then there was like this weird stuff between him and Sarah and everything. And before I go to you to ask you about what you thought about the whole Nicandro thing, didn't you feel like, listen, I'm just gonna say it. They got like a supermodel to play adult Nicandro.
Yes. Oh my God. I remember seeing him. I think we saw him at like the end of season one or something like that.
Well, like the younger version.
Yeah, younger version Nicandro. He's cute or whatever. And then once we got to like older, like adult, I was like, who is that? I was like, that cannot be the same person.
When they brought him in, at no point when they first brought him in, I was like, who is this guy? And he's like, Nicandro? And I was like, no.
I was like, these dots are not connecting here. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, that guy is super hot. And I mean, and he did a really good job, playing Nicandro. Like, I was very like surprised, and I just was. And then Mari Fur was sleeping with him. I was like, you go, girl. You do that. I'm so proud of you. You do you. And like, and then when he was like looking at her laptop and like all of that, I was like, he's playing her like real hard. Mm-hmm. But I never ever suspected that he was working with Alex at all. Never suspected that.
You mean the doctor?
No, when he was like texting Alex and he was like, oh, I got dirt on Mari Fur or whatever. And I was like, what?
Oh my God. See, there was so much in this season that it's like I forget some of the things that happened.
Because it was so quick. It was like, okay, Nicandro's here. Okay, he's sleeping with Mari Fur. Okay, he works with Alex. What? Okay, what did I miss? Where did they meet up? And they decided they were against Mari Fur. What happened?
Yeah. And it was so weird because seemingly they made it seem at first that he was doing all of this just to get a statue back. Because it's like he gets the statue in Sarah's room and he's like, all right, this is all I needed. We weren't ever really friends, so I'm gonna go my separate way. And Alex is like, all right, I respect that. Bye. And
yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, this is all done for a statue? Okay. I mean, it was just
the statue's been missing for like 20 years. So, I mean, I thought it was so weird because he went in her room. He was like, can I see her room? I was like, that's a weird thing to say when you and Sarah weren't like, you like hated Alex's family. So I don't understand why you want to see Sarah's room. And he's just like, he's searching her room. I was like, what is he looking for? Like, he's not doing he's not doing like a reminiscing, like sitting there and like, oh, like, she used to sit here and do her homework, or she used to read her books here. Like, no, no good memories are popping up except for like that one. But like, and then he's like, oh, here's this statue that I just so happen to have been missing for 20 years. Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever. It was really weird.
It was a little strange. And then we have, I'm just going to go into it, the end scene where, because, all right, this is the thing. It's like, you hear the title, Who Killed Sara, right? Mm-hmm. And you think, okay, this is going to be fairly obvious at the end of season one. We think it's Elroy. Then now we think it's Mari Fur. And we're like, all right, book closed on Who Killed Sara. We know already. Mari Fur did it. And then at the very end, when there's Nicandro, like, let's let Marifer continue thinking, which, by the way, does that mean she's alive? Because, or maybe he just doesn't know that she's dead. But he's like, let's let Marifer continue thinking that she killed Sara, but we actually killed Sara. And I was like,
Yeah.
did Sara then maybe not? Someone pointed out, I saw on Tumblr, which I know is not the most reliable of sources, obviously.
I love Tumblr. Tumblr is my favorite theory spot to go
Okay, good.
to.
Every time I mention like Tumblr, I'm afraid that someone's gonna be like, "Oh, you're on Tumblr," and I'm like,
No,
"Yes, all the time."
you be on Tumblr, girl. I approve.
Thank you. But someone was like, "What if Sara didn't really have paranoid schizophrenia? What if like the doctor was doing some shit and I don't friggin' know, giving her some certain medications or something? Like, what do you think about this whole? Why was Nicandro working with the doctor with Sara? Because then Nicandro would have been like a young guy. Like, is he just a sociopath?
Probably, but I think my theory was that when they went to the lake and Sara, fell to her untimely demise, I
Mm-hmm.
think that they probably got her to the hospital in time, and maybe she didn't die like immediately. And for some reason, Nicandro, because he's insane, was like following her around, or maybe he was working with Marifer because Marifer knew that she was going to the doctor and all of that stuff, and maybe he found out that this was her doctor. And I mean, when you go to the hospital and something happens to you, I'm sure they call your actual doctor on record and it's like, hey, like you should come see your patient to check on her or whatever. So I think that maybe the doctor killed Sara, but he was working with Nicandro to kill Sara. Now I don't know why him and the doctor would be working together to kill Sara, but that's my working theory right now, is that she didn't die when she hit the water and they got her to the hospital in time to save her, but she died probably at the hospital, because we don't actually know. Like, they've made us believe that she basically died like as soon as she hit the water, which I mean is not entirely unplausible, because that is a very hard hit into some water as high up as she was. So like, I don't know. I just kind of feel like maybe she didn't die immediately at the hospital and maybe the doctor killed her or something like that. That's kind of my
I
working theory.
I kind of felt that in season two. I thought maybe they were going to go in that direction, like before it came out, that it was going to be revealed that she didn't die when she hit the water. So I do have this like big conspiracy thought of just echoing what you said, that she didn't die, she got to the hospital, and then for some reason we'll, hopefully find out that, the doctor did something, but she didn't die in that moment, which it's like,
Yeah.
what did this girl say? Like, again, I don't think Sara was the nicest of people. We saw in season one that she, very much treated Elroy like the help. She, called Chema really nasty things because of his sexuality. So it's like, I already thought that Sara wasn't the nicest of people, but it's like, what did she do to have all these like conspiracies around her that everyone just wanted her dead?
Yeah, it seems like, excuse my language, it seems like she kind of was making her way into fucking everyone over.
Yeah.
Like everyone, like she was burning bridge after bridge after bridge after bridge. And I was like, bro, what are you doing? Like you, and then I thought, like, for a second there in season one, I thought, okay, maybe Sara cut the ropes for herself and she was trying to kill herself. Like, because
Yeah.
after Alex found her journal or whatever, I was like, okay, maybe she was a little suicidal and maybe she, decided to kill herself,
Yeah.
because you see, like, Mariana was like, Elroy cut the ropes, because she, of course, isn't going to cut him herself. But then Elroy couldn't do it. He was like, oh, I can't murder her because he's in love with her. I was like, Sara, what are you doing
Everyone's
to
in
these
love
people?
with her.
Literally everyone in that whole family is either in love with Sara or in love with Alex. And I'm like, what are y'all doing to these people? What are y'all
This
doing to
poor
these people
family.
who love you? I know, like, you guys are doing so good until the Guzmans came in your life, and now you guys just don't know what to do with yourselves. And just like, there were so many different opportunities for so many different people to cut those ropes to kill
Yeah.
Sara. And I really thought that maybe she just cut him herself, and because she wanted to kill herself. Because I mean, she volunteered to go first.
Yeah.
She was like, I'll do it. I was like, okay,
All
whatever.
right. Yeah, because it felt a little weird to have it like that. that speech that Mariana did with her was enough for her to just so be like, yeah, I'm going to do this because I'm pregnant. At some point, I won't be able to do this. It's like you still could have let someone else go in front of you. Like that's such a chance to have it where like she does it first. And I don't know why like Rodolfo or Chema wouldn't think it's a little weird that their mother was like, oh, you have this parachute, but you two can't do it. The others can because they're disposable, obviously. They're not Lascanos.
Right. And then on the boat where Elroy's like, your guys' mom said that you guys can't do it. And I'm like, what?
What teenage boy listens to that? They'd be like, screw
honestly,
you.
Right. And then Sarah's like, oh, I'll do it. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, okay. But I mean, everyone had so many different opportunities to cut those ropes to kill Sara. And then, then it oddly you find out that it's Marifer who does it because she like follows them.
Oh yeah,
and that was so weird.
So weird. No one notices that this random girl just like pops up, and the way they like filmed it was like Sara and Mariana are walking, and then Mariana just like goes a little bit ahead, and then she doesn't hear Sara like arguing with someone in the bushes.
Right. And like as many times as they've looked at photos and videos and all of that stuff in season 1 above the lake, they just now were seeing Marifer crouched down in the bushes in the brightest pink shirt you've ever seen. Like, were you guys really looking or were you just kidding?
They were just kidding. It's like my other question is like, at what point does Alex kind of figure out that his sister was just not like this nice person that he thought she was?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's his sister and it's still a mystery and he still went away for it, so he still wants to find all that out. But it's like, at what point does he just stop this? Which I guess maybe he'll just stop it now that Marifer confessed. But it's like Elisa came back. She surprisingly isn't dead because I really thought they were going to kill her off a bunch of times in season 2.
Oh my god, me too. Especially when she got kidnapped by Sergio. I was like, oh, Sergio's gonna kill her. Like I knew he was. But he now R.I.P. to Sergio. He was insane. Oh my god.
Insane.
That guy who played, I don't even know the actor's name, but he did a plus job playing that. Like, just kudos to him. And that like, and excuse me for being prejudiced against people with just like mustaches or whatever, but like you can't just have a mustache like that and not be a creep. Like you can't.
I was gonna say that that someone's a psychopath when they start playing opera. It's a thing that suddenly when they start like playing opera.
And he had both of the things, mustache and opera.
And opera.
He was bad.
We knew he was bad.
Oh my god.
I love the conversation. I'm paraphrasing between Sergio and Cesar, where Cesar's like, you killed other people? And he's like, you know what it's like. We all have our vices. And Cesar's like, I know, but dude, you couldn't help. Like, the conversation they had was so chill.
Honestly, it was so calm. Cesar's just like, oh, so you're murdering people now? And he's like, well, I mean,
you know what it's like when you get
He's like, you know how you kill animals? I kill people. We all have our faults. I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? You're murdering people. And like a lot of people and videotaping it. Like, who? That's a real psychopath right there.
It's a really psychopath. I felt so bad in season 1. I forget the girl's name now, but the girl who like Bruno had essentially befriended.
Yes.
I think she was from Germany or something, because they made a point to say that she didn't know how to speak English or Spanish. So it's like she really was out of her element. And it's like Bruno so badly wanted to help her. That's why like I had wanted Bruno to have, say, a bigger role in season 2, because I'm like, this kid clearly has a moral compass that like no one in the show has.
Yeah. Definitely. I felt so bad because I thought that with Bruno finding out that there was, a freaking brothel in the basement, I thought that his story would be like a little bit more, but it wasn't. Like all of season 1 was just him trying to get people to let him into the basement. He was like, come on, like you have to follow me to the basement. Like there's people down there and this and that and this and that. And everybody's like, no, you can't go back to the casino. You can't do this. You can't do that. And I'm like, what? I was like, listen to him.
Poor Bruno.
Listen to him. He knows what he's talking about.
That's what he's talking about. I know. I was like, poor Bruno. Sweet, sweet baby Bruno.
I know. Now he's gone to the United States with his new little brother and his dad and his mom.
Can you imagine Bruno in like an American school, right? And everyone's sitting there and they're like, oh, did you play Fortnite last night? Or, hey, whatever the kids do today, right? And it's like, so it's like, Bruno, how was your summer? I watched people get murdered in a brothel.
And then I helped my mom escape Mexico to come to the United States so her baby wouldn't get taken away. What?
What? Like, I'm just imagining that conversation.
It's I can't imagine he'll have a lot of friends.
No, poor Bruno. But
I know.
As we get closer to the end of this review, was there anything else that you want to point out that stuck out to you about season 2?
Just Mariana's whole character, like she
confuses me.
She is so confusing, and I just want to know why she is the way that she is. I mean, it can't all be being married to Cesar. Like it can't be. And like the whole, like, she was so nice to Marifer and Clara's mom. It's like, oh, yeah. Are you pregnant? Oh, that's so great. Yeah, you can keep working here and you can even bring your baby here while you're working. And I'm like, what? I was like, what? I don't, like, she's so nice when it comes to like babies. And then it was so insane to me that she moved Sophia into her house.
Yeah, that was very weird.
She was like, I'm gonna be a mother again. And I was like, what? I was like, with whose baby? Because Cesar is dead or missing at the point that she said that she was having another baby. And I was like, I don't think that's how that works, but okay. And then I just knew once Sophia went into labor, I was like, she's gonna try and take that baby. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was so weird that she just blatantly in front of Rodolfo was like on the phone with like her lawyer and was like, yeah, she's not fit to be a mom, so I want to take custody of the kid. And I was like, what? I was like, your lawyers are just gonna let you do that?
They like never. Okay, so the thing with like Mariana, the thing like that she does with her leg and everything, she's clearly into some like BDSM shit. And it never was like explored fully, but it seems as if Cesar didn't like that, because there's at some point in season 1 where it looks like they're about to get, down and dirty. And he noticed that she's wearing the thing and he's like, you promised me you weren't going to do that. You disgust me. And he like walks away. And
I think I can't remember exactly what he said, but I think he said something like it being like a penance or something like that. So I thought it was kind of like, not like a chastity belt, but like a thing for her to like say, oh, I did this bad thing. Now I basically like the equivalent of cutting yourself because you feel like bad about yourself or whatever. Because remember when she was having that whole breakdown and was seeing all the dead people in her house, which I thought was great. I was like, yes, she deserves this so bad right now. This is what she deserves, because she's seeing Sarah and she's seeing Clara and Elroy, like she's seeing all of them, all these dead people. And I'm like, what is she on that she's like seeing all these dead people? Like, I know she's drinking, but like, is she mixing or what is she doing?
Is she drinking absinthe or something?
Right. But she had that, she was, after Clara got shot or whatever, she went home and was doing that thing on her leg. And like, she was doing that bad boy real tight. And it didn't seem like it was like a sexual thing. It just kind of seemed like it was I witnessed or I did this bad thing. I need, penance for it, I guess.
And I will say, you brought it up. It reminded me, I think Cesar said something about like God or something. And so I kind of thought, and again, I don't know, but this is just like my thoughts, where it's like, maybe she's just one of those people that's like super religious. And even though she's married and everything, she still kind of views sex in like a bad way or something. So this is like her way of like punishing herself for even being horny or something like that. I don't honestly know. Um,
Yeah.
but she should have been punishing herself for trying to get young Elroy to like finger her or something. I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
that like full on because that
Oh my
was
God.
so uncomfortable to me when I saw that. I was like, what?
Yeah. That was and I felt so bad for Elroy too. I mean, besides the fact that he was a kid and he killed his parents, but like he definitely didn't deserve that sexual abuse like that. And
No,
like
absolutely not.
and like he wasn't sleeping with anybody else but Mariana. And she was just, giving it to him whenever she felt like it. She was just like, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. And then when Cesar comes in, it's like, oh no, we're just talking. And I'm like, girl, you're
Which
literally
it,
about to like molest this man.
yeah, it was very uncomfortable. And then she just is like kills him, and I think she,
Yes.
and then I think she starts praying. So that's another thing where I'm like, I think she's just like super religious, but like
Yeah.
taking her faith to maybe like an extreme point. So I don't know. Mariana was definitely crazy. That was insane, but
Yeah. Yeah. And you said it earlier that you don't think that this season kind of revolved around Alex like it did season one. And it really felt more about the Lascanos than it did about Alex. Like, cause you got more Chema. You didn't really get a lot of Rodolfo either, which I was a little, he didn't have like a huge plot line in the movie. He was just
well,
kind of like in the show. He was just kind of like there, I guess.
I did wonder that as well. And part of me thinks, you said that you actually, this is not a shameless plug, but you said that you listened to my interview that I did with Alejandro Nunez.
Yes.
And in that interview, he reviewed, not review, he revealed that he had actually had COVID during the time of filming
Okay.
season two. So I'm wondering if they had to cut some of his scenes because of that. Um,
Maybe.
that's just what I'm wondering. But yeah, I would have liked to see more Rodolfo because he was such an interesting character. This, the older brother who Cesar's clearly trying to put a lot of responsibility on and trying to live in his father's shoes. But now in season two, very much seeming as if like he doesn't even care about that anymore. So I
Yeah.
would have liked that. But if you had to give this a number out of 10, what would you rate season two?
I'd give it an 8.5.
I think that's fair. I think I'd also give it an 8.5.
Yeah.
There were some plot holes, but
Mm-hmm.
overall, I really enjoyed the craziness.
Oh yeah. But did you see? Because I was watching when I watched your interview with Alejandro, he said, "Oh, there might be something there at the end," and I had just finished it like a couple of days ago, and then it popped up on my screen right as the credits were rolling, and it was like, "Don't worry, another season is coming," and I was like, "Yes, season 3!" So excited.
And I wasn't expecting that honestly because what you calls it when I had again not a plug, but when I interviewed Leah, he had made it seem as if there was only going to be 2 seasons because he was like, oh, seasons 1 and 2 were supposed to be one season. So I was like, oh, is this supposed to be like a limited time series? But the fact that we're getting a season 3, I was like, we need it. After all that craziness at the end and that freaking cliffhanger, I was like, we need a season 3. So, I mean,
Well,
what are you expecting for that?
maybe Leo was saying it's only supposed to be season 1 and 2 because maybe young. He's so cute too. I loved that interview because he was just such a sweetheart, and I was like,
So
oh,
adorable.
I was like, I love this guy. But I think that maybe it won't be so much as like them kind of doing more flashbacks like they were because season 1 was like all flashbacks.
Yeah,
And then season 2, there was like a little trickle here and there of flashbacks, but it wasn't a lot of Alex, like young Alex in those flashbacks. So maybe like young Alex won't make an appearance in season 3, and if he does, it'll be very minimal.
that's true.
Um, but I hope. If this, you can only like, as a person who's watched plenty of telenovelas and regular television, because I love TV, you can only do so many plot twists before it's like, okay, like
Yeah.
who actually killed her,
Who
and
killed Sara?
like I'm gonna keep watching it because I want to know who actually killed her. But you guys are really doing a whole lot with these plot twists. Um, but I think somewhere in there, like Alex like has to find out. I mean, he kind of knows about Nicandro and Sarah's relationship a little bit, but like not a lot. And I mean, there's not a lot of light shed on that relationship either. It's just like Sarah's like, oh, I want to sell drugs, and it's like, okay, I guess that's what you want to do. And oh, here's another theory that I had, and it just I don't even know why it came to me just now. When she asked him for that advance on like the money or whatever when she was selling the drugs, and I was like, that's a weird thing to say when you've never sold drugs before, but you want an advance on drugs you don't even have. Um, but she said, "Oh, I got the money," and I was to Mari for, and I was like, "Money for what? Like, what did you get money for?" Yeah. And I think that when Sarah was asking Nicandro for the money that she was trying to get, and she already knew that she was pregnant, and she was probably trying to get the money for an abortion, or Marifer could have also been pregnant, most likely by Alex, considering that was like the only dude that she was sleeping with at the time.
That we know of.
That we know of. But I mean, I just maybe, one of them was in a situation where they needed this money to get out of that situation. So, yeah. And they're your best friend. So you're going to tell your best friend, oh, hey, I'm pregnant. Oh, hey, like, I don't think I can keep this baby, Yeah. And that your best friend, being your best friend, is going to go with you and support you in whatever it is that you're going to do. So I think that I don't know. But then you see her give that money to Abel. But I think that first set of cash that she got was for something else, that it wasn't for Abel. I don't think.
I mean, so the thing is, like, season 3, I hope to have a lot more answers. I hope that there aren't as many twists, because I don't think the show needs to rely on that. Season 1 didn't have a lot of twists, and it was just fine. It was a great season. So I hope they wrap up everything with Sara. If they want to say continue this whole world, because there's so much with the Lascanos, I can see them moving on, maybe have like a sequel series or something, maybe not call it Who Killed Sara, or, whatever, continue that. But I mean, I wouldn't mind continuing to learn about these characters. I just don't want it to be at the end of season 3, be like, but it actually wasn't Nicandro and the doctor.
Right. Like, and I really, it made me very upset when they killed Lorenzo, because I was like, oh my God, I love Lorenzo, even though he was kind of a dick, but rightfully so.
He was just frustrated. He was like, yeah. He was so proud and, so open and, so successful. And he's like, why am I even bothering with this guy who has a family that's not supportive, and he's never going to move away from it? I understood Lorenzo.
I totally understood it too, because I mean, he but he was out and proud, and he was like, I don't understand why you can't be out and proud. But I think I really want something to happen to the man who murdered him. Yeah. They just opened their gate. This guy's like, oh, you killed my brother, stabs Lorenzo in the throat. And I was like, okay, hold on.
It's like, have you met your brother? Your brother was an asshole.
Literally. And then the guy just runs off. Yeah. I'm like, what?
There was no.
Are we not gonna catch him? And like, they didn't seem like they really cared about Lorenzo's murder. Like, because they literally never brought it up ever again.
They definitely felt as if they just wanted to get rid of the character Lorenzo, and they're like, here's how we're gonna do it, and it's just gonna be a random murder. And I'm like, but I really liked Lorenzo.
I felt like he really kept Chema like really like grounded, kind of like just And I think that he genuinely loved Chema. Like, and I think Chema probably loved him too, but it just, again, the whole placeholder for Alex thing.
But Lorenzo definitely loved Chema more than Chema loved Lorenzo, unfortunately. Yes. By the way, really quick, my favorite power move by Lorenzo is in season 1 when Cesar and Mariana come in, and Mariana's like, oh, I don't recognize anything here. And Lorenzo's like, because it's my house and it's my furniture. I'm going to decorate my house how I want to. And, yes. and of course, Cesar's like, I paid for it. I bought it for my son. And I was like, fuck off.
Oh yeah, no, Lorenzo definitely was not taking any of the Lozano's shit at all. He was like, excuse me, I pay for this stuff here too. Please get out of my face.
I
But I
want to
mean,
say,
he's a successful lawyer, so like,
yeah. Oh my God. In season 2, I know I keep saying real quick, but when Chema like showed up to Lorenzo's law firm and Lorenzo was like, "What are you doing?
oh
Get
my
the
god.
fuck out of here."
Oh
Lorenzo
my
just,
god.
I mean, not Lorenzo, Chema just looked like a sad puppy. And he's like,
I know.
"Please take me back."
Honestly, like I just knew that this season was gonna be bad for Chema. Like it's what because you I think it's the first episode where he shows up at Lorenzo's
I think so.
law firm and Lorenzo's like, you don't have to make him an excuse to come here. Like you don't have to say you're gonna bring me my mail. Like
Oh,
I'll come get it when I want to come get it. And Chema's like, please come back. Like I can't sleep without you and blah 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 and all this stuff. Lorenzo's like, I'm not having any of this. Like I
but,
just he was
but
such a boss.
but then poor Lorenzo coming in and literally seeing Chema and Clara in bed together, and he's like, "Oh,
Yes.
okay. You say you
Yeah.
miss me, and then I come in and see this."
Yeah,
What the
I mean, I think that Chema, like, I'm sure that he loved Clara, but not like, I think Clara was just an opportunity for him to forget about Lorenzo for a second. So he just took that opportunity. But what, and Lorenzo came in all sneaky. I mean, he came in and he took off his shoes. And I was like, you're trying to catch them doing something. I know that
definitely.
you are.
He wanted to so that Chema didn't have the opportunity to deny it. He was
Yeah.
like, "All right, I know something's crazy. I know this girl Clara's crazy. Worst decision ever to have her carry our child."
Do, and I can't remember, do Clara and Marifer, is Abel their dad too? Or is he just Marifer's dad?
They never explained that. They never explained if then I'm assuming Clara had a different father and that
Okay.
Marifer was just Abel's child. That whole thing. That was crazy. This whole season was crazy, but it definitely kept me on my toes.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for a season 3. I just want to like continue seeing these stories and again seeing all these beautiful people. So
Yes, they are all so pretty. Oh my gosh, the girl Carolina who plays Lisa, she is beautiful. When I watched your interview, I was like, I love her.
can I tell you, when I did that interview, I was just like, it's unfair. It's
Honestly, so
unfair.
unfair. So
Oh my
unfair.
god.
And you got the most beautiful, the like her and Manolo, like they are just so pretty. Like
Together, right?
yeah, if I were you, I would have been like, I wouldn't have been able to say anything. It would have just been like 5 minutes of me just be like, oh, you guys are just the most beautiful people I've ever seen in my whole life.
Can I tell you really quick? So that interview was during a press thing, right? So I don't know if you've done like a virtual press thing, but you're literally just sitting there in like a waiting room and you're waiting there for like ever before they're like, all right, and we're bringing you in. And you don't have any time. They're like, you got 9 minutes. And I'm like, okay, and can I tell you, like, full disclosure, like, I don't speak Spanish. And, so I was very honest with them about it that I don't speak Spanish. And so I guess they got me the actors who spoke English. Right before that interview, they're like, listen, Carolina speaks English, but she's not very good at it. So she may respond in Spanish. And in my head, I'm like, but I'm not going to know what she says. So when we did that, and she was, which again, it's like, it's fine. I can't speak Spanish. So it's like, I would feel uncomfortable as well if I was doing an interview in another language. But when she responds in Spanish in my head, I'm like, all right, and go to the next one.
Right.
that's
Yeah.
what
You
that's why you see me just like, thank you. And
yeah. You're like, and Manolo. And oh god, Manolo's accent. I just as soon as he started talking, I was like, all right, I'm swooning over it. Like I'm listening to it at work and I'm like, oh god, what a good accent you have there. And it's just and I mean all of them were they're English. Like I mean, I know that they kind of they switch a little bit in the show with English and stuff like that. And Netflix is like mostly like a US company. So
yeah.
but I mean they're all of their English is amazing. I was like,
Well,
oh my god.
it was really impressive with the show because I believe it was Manolo who said that like they were able to tell this story with a platform like Netflix, so they were able to be seen by more people, and people realizing that Spanish speaking programs don't have to be just cartel related or drug related. It's like they can do
Yes.
something like a murder mystery. And I think they did it really well. So I'm
Yes.
happy that Who Killed Sara is so successful. And yeah, so I'm very happy with season 2. Cannot wait for season 3. Johna, thank you so much for being here with me today to review it. Please promote yourself. Let everyone know where they can find you.
You can find me on the Kinda Nerdy Girls podcast with KJ and Katie. We're on all streaming platforms. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Johna underscore because someone took it's Johna underscore because they're rude. So
You're rude.
Well, my Instagram handle is it's Johna underscore, and then KJ was like, just change your Twitter name to that too, and I was like, okay, great. But then someone had already taken it.
Those bastards.
I know, but Tia, thank you so much for having me. I was trying to talk about this show on the podcast the other day, and I didn't even get through all of the feelings that I was having. So I appreciate that you're having me on here to talk about it.
Were you doing it during your weeping segment?
Yes. Yeah, because KJ was like, well, what made you cry? I was like, they was killing everyone. and it wasn't like, oh, someone died here, someone died. There's like multiple people dying in an episode.
Every single second. So it was insane. I'm sure we'll have a lot to weep about in season 3. But
oh, definitely.
Yeah, please everyone make sure that you check out Johna. Please check out the Kinda Nerdy Girls podcast. I have been on like 3 times and I love it. I'm obsessed. Please make sure you check them out. Please make sure you follow geekvibesnation.com. Has platforms to all of our social media platforms. Can't talk this morning. Please make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, Geek Vibes Podcast. If you want to follow me, I'm on Instagram and Twitter, TC_Stark. And thank you everyone for checking it out. Let us know how you felt about Who Killed Sara season 2, and I'll see you next time. Bye.